A father's journey into the shadows, a chilling true story that remains unsolved to this day. In January of 1996, a struggling couple in Germany was barely making ends meet. The husband had recently lost his job, and the two could hardly afford a loaf of bread to keep hunger away. Their only daughter had been studying alone in London for years, rarely visiting. One day, the wife asked her husband to travel to a distant village where she had inherited an old house from her father a decade earlier. She hoped selling the house could ease their financial troubles. The husband hesitated. The house was located in an isolated, forgotten village, miles away from the nearest town. But her insistence wore him down, and eventually he agreed to go. He boarded a local vehicle that could only take him part of the way. After hours of travel, the driver suddenly stopped in the middle of nowhere and told him to get out. "Are we there yet?" the man asked, confused. The driver replied nervously, "No, it's still another hour's walk from here." "Then why are you stopping?" Visibly anxious, the driver said, "Because I won't go any farther down this road." "Why not?" asked the husband. The driver hesitated, then snapped, "Just get out." "I have to go back." Baffled, the man stepped out and watched the vehicle vanish into the night. Darkness had already fallen. All he could see ahead was a narrow, rugged path surrounded by trees, and all he could hear were howls. Wolves or dogs, he couldn't tell. Terrified but determined, he walked for over an hour. Just when he began to lose hope, he stumbled upon a lumberjack lying on the forest floor. Relieved, he rushed over and explained what had happened. The lumberjack paused, then said, "The people in that village, they don't like outsiders." "Outsiders?" the man echoed. "Yes," the lumberjack chuckled. "There are evil spirits in that village. The people are scared of anyone unfamiliar." "But I have to go," the man insisted. "Then go," said the lumberjack. "But if anyone asks, say you're looking for work." The man nodded and entered the village. Every step felt heavier than the last. He searched in silence until he found the inherited house. It was pitch dark. The lights were broken. He entered cautiously, calling out in vain. Suddenly, villagers began to gather outside, drawn by his shouting. When they entered the house with him, they were stunned. Inside was a decayed corpse, reduced to a skeleton, lying there for what seemed like years. Around the neck of the skeleton was a necklace he and his wife had gifted their daughter long ago. Shocked, the man broke down in tears. How did his daughter end up here? She was supposed to be in London, studying. What brought her back to this cursed place? And who killed her? That night, the father buried what remained of his daughter. Sleep was nearly impossible. The next morning, he noticed blood on his face when he looked in the mirror. He assumed he had scratched himself during the burial and thought little of it. Days turned into months. The father remained in the village, using the excuse of trying to sell the house while secretly investigating his daughter's death. Every night, he heard voices, whispers that haunted him. "Are you my father? Mom, I'm here." The police were of little help. With no leads and no one willing to talk, he finally gave up and returned home, defeated and broken. Upon reaching his apartment, he nervously knocked on the door, dreading how to tell his wife. But to his surprise, the neighbor approached him and said, "Your wife received a telegram from you a month ago. It said you needed her urgently, and she should come find you." "What?" "I never sent any telegram," he replied. The neighbor, puzzled, urged him to act quickly. He rushed back to the village, hoping to find her. He searched every corner, including the house, but she was nowhere to be found. In a panic, he returned to the city and alerted the police. They searched for weeks, but found no trace of her. He began to believe she had used the house sale as an excuse to send him away and leave him for good. Years passed. He lived in solitude and sorrow. Until one rainy night, someone knocked on his door. It was a telegram, no sender, no return address. It read, "Stop waiting for Mum. She's not coming back. She's in another place now." He stared at the message, heart pounding. At the bottom of the paper was a final note. "I knew I was adopted. I discovered the truth before I left for London. You will be the second one. Get ready."